Hello, I'm Rick Brickett, 181 Vincent Road. I'm here as a resident. I need to make public comment. And the first thing I want to say is that the chief informed board member Delato that the vests are in for the crossing guards. That's the first thing I'm going to say. The second thing I wanted to ask is, I believe according to the Open Public Meetings Act, that when you introduce an ordinance, you should also establish the time for the second reading and public hearing. And I didn't hear the solicitor say that, but I assume you all know that. But it's good form to read the title and also say when the public hearing is going to take place. I think that's good form. That's the way I remember it. About 8 years ago, February, this time of the year, there was a similar discussion in this room. Fortunately, there was the Chief Association's representative here to counter the mayor's arguments regarding the safety director. At that meeting 8 years ago, the council chose to add that ordinance for a safety director. And I don't know what the difference is between a safety director and a director, but they chose, after hearing what the mayor had to say and after hearing what the Chief Association's representative had to say, they chose to add the ordinance to the agenda and then vote to introduce it. At least we had the Chiefs Association come out and talk about the other side of it. I've heard very little discussion. Tonight was a lot better than it was at the last meeting. And according to the Open Public Meetings Act, the public is supposed to know what goes into your deliberations. And what I hear is your deliberations are, well, you talk to somebody here, you've talked to administration, and you've gotten your answers. If you look to administration as you're saying that, you've got your answers. Well, you're supposed to report to the public what your answers are. You know, what goes into your thinking for introducing an ordinance? Or what goes into your thinking for passing an ordinance? And I haven't seen that. And I would suggest that you read the Open Public Meetings Act to confirm that the legislature requires that bodies that are making decisions on behalf of the people that they serve explain, be transparent, and explain how they go into deliberating what they do, the decisions they make, why they vote the way they do. They also talk about that if you don't do that, the public then becomes distrustful of you as a body making decisions for the public. As I said, 8 years ago, the council chose to introduce the safety director's ordinance. Again, I'm not sure what the difference is between safety director and a director. A lot went on over the next 2 weeks. The public got very upset, very much like tonight. Unfortunately, the public was, I think the room was probably this full the night it was introduced. Well, as the solicitor said, we had to move over to the courtroom. Actually, we were scheduled to be in the courtroom to accommodate all the people that came out. The room was filled. And the council chose not to listen to the public. You know, I don't know how many how many citizens called council members, and I would hope that the public calls you and lets you know how you feel. I think your numbers are out there, your email's out there. You should be open to conversations with the public, not just with administration, not just with the mayor, not just with a business administrator. You need to hear from what your constituents think. And I don't think you've done that. I don't think you've listened to what the people of this town think. And they are really, in my experience, what I've heard, what I believe, is they're opposed to diminishing the powers of the chief of police. They support their chief of police. And if by some chance there is a director, I hope you realize as a council that the mayor appoints, you confirm. If you don't confirm that position, I guess defaults back to administration, back to the business administrator, back to the mayor, where it is now. You know, where it is now, that's where it is. We're just adding a third person here with a director. So we have a chain of command. We have the chief, who's so important to the community. And then you add somebody, we don't know who it is, and then the business administrator and the mayor. We don't know how much it's going to cost. So I would just urge you, I sent you a article from the League of Municipalities. I heard from Ms. Skull and Ms. Stinney. They were professional enough to let me know that they received the article. I hope you'll take the time to consult with the League of Municipalities before you decide whether you're going to vote for this ordinance. I haven't read it. I don't know what's in it. Again, I don't know what the difference is. I've heard the solicitor say definitely a safety director isn't a director. Well, I'd like to know, and I don't want you to answer me now, but I'd like you to know before you vote, really, what's the difference between the two? You know, how are they the same and how are they different? How are they the same and how are they different? So you need to do your homework, and your homework is to look at ordinances from other towns. Your homework is to check with the League of Municipalities, and most important, your homework is to talk with the constituents, your constituents, the voters in Pemberton Township, and I hope you do that. So I want to thank you for your time, and I had some questions about some other things, but I'll save them for another meeting, probably the one after the next, because I hope a lot of people will come out and voice their concerns. Thank you so much. You have a tough job. It's not easy being a weak council under a strong mayor, but you can do it. You got to stick together. On behalf of the residents of Pemberton Township, thank you.
Ms. Waters.
Norma Waters, Pemberton Heights. I appreciate that tonight there has seemed to be less rancor in this room than I have witnessed in the past. But when I come to these meetings, I tend to envision tax dollars just floating down and evaporating. It just seems to me that a lot of time is spent in nonsense and in dissension, and that the wages and the talents of this township are just wasted. We have professionals, as well as yourselves, sitting in this room. We have the attorney. And there are serious issues. We have litigation involving employees, and it isn't just police employees who are unhappy and have issues. I downloaded from NJ.com an article from 2011 that might set a precedent for your investigation. This is about the township of Edison, who under the Faulkner Act investigated the mayor and the administration regarding a police lawsuit. The police chief had been apparently suspended. This investigation, according to this article, was considered unusual and without much precedent. But Edison Township has provided you now with a recent precedent. The township administrator reportedly called council's investigation. I wish my memory were better. Senseless, I believe, was the word, according to the article. That administrator had been there about a year and was ultimately fired. The administrator, according to the article, was thought by some to have fomented a good deal of trouble, inciting the mayor to take certain actions, which ultimately the council had to remedy. Now, Township Council is responsible to handle the purse strings and is responsible to confirm appointments by the mayor to key positions such as administration. The following year, guess who Pemberton Township hired as our administrator? That was in 2012. It was commented in this room several meetings ago that up until a couple of years ago, council and administration used to work together and get a lot of things done. A couple of years ago, June 2012. Council, you must take action. We have the people come before you repeatedly and plead with you. I weep for Pemberton Township. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Waters, I just thank you so very much.
Council member comments.
Gary Heater, Country Like the State. My thing is, what are you guys doing about this act? How many millions of dollars are you guys losing to this guy? How are you gonna bring a new business into Browns Mills where you got a, a boarded up structure that, is not safe for nobody? Every time I, get on Facebook, it's the same thing. Nothing's being done. Roads are terrible. The drugs are out of hand. And another thing about these people, the cops can't do it all. I lived in a town called Shirley, New York, before I moved down here. We had the same problem. What we did, we got the township to put in speed tracks. The police didn't have to go out there. They got these little billboard signs. Every time you speed, they took your license plate and how fast you go. Want to bring in revenue? Do it that way. One, this town is arrested with drugs. I'm a recovering drug addict in 19 years. When I find drugs in my neighborhood, day in, day out, nothing's being done about it. I had 3 of my neighbors broken into because there's not enough police in this town. I walk 3 dogs every day. I can't get myself out of the way without hurting my dog, because in my community, speed limit is 25. They're going 50 miles an hour in country lanes. Same thing with the school bus. Coming and dropping the kids off. They're flying, they're going over 40 miles an hour. Something has to be done. Or somebody's going to get killed. Same thing with these little go-karts. I know a guy up the street from me. I warned him 4 times. He takes his kids on these go-karts, no restraints, no safety helmets, nothing. I got threatened because I reported him to the police. I don't take threats like I'm out there every day. I'm not afraid of him. You know, he got warned once by the police. But soon as they left, he brought his little go-kart bag out there, he did it again. When this serves my peace, because I moved here because it's a quiet community, which I like. I grew up in the city of Trenton. Same thing with this business administrator, it doesn't work. Because Trenton did it, but it failed. Look what, you know, look what the last mayor did to Trenton. Where is he at today? He's in jail. I see corruption, 3 different communities. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Cody Mack. His predecessor before him, he's being investigated by the FBI. Yes, he's being investigated. And I think the same thing is happening in this town today.
Can we not make any speculations, please?
Speculation. What I understand is this town is in $42 million in the hole. When you spend $900 for 2 plants at $900 a piece, that's absurd. Who's going to spend $900 for 2 small shrubs? I go on your website and see what's being spent. Wasteful spending. And every time you guys take this guy to court, he laughs his way to the bank. That he's making money off. And in this community, it's tired of seeing the same thing day in, day out. Nothing's being done. That's all I have to say.
Council member comments.
I think, see one hand out there.
Where?
Oh,
Ms. Quinn, since this will be your 3rd time coming to the mic, I'm requesting that you please get me your question or please circulate it through the clerk if you don't mind. Thank you.
I'm going to reiterate something I said when I first stood up here with the police director. If you don't confirm somebody, it still goes back to the mayor. He still gets to do what he wants. He still has the ability to put a civilian in place. You are playing with fire. He can do what he wants. You're playing with fire. Fix the problems in this town. Not just rubber stamp everything. You know, you guys sit there and I get the distinct impression that
They don't care.
you don't care what we say, but it's our tax dollars. None of yous walk in any of our shoes at all. We still don't know where money's coming from. We don't have enough police officers. Why not go through that budget line by line and take out the wasteful spending so we can get more police officers? So we can get them the equipment that they need. So we don't have the problems that we currently have. Please, don't rubber stamp things. Go through everything. I have to budget my money. There's other ways to spend the township budget that would make an impact. And all I hear is all day, all night tonight is problem after problem that nobody seems to care about. I haven't heard one solution to anything. Please, for the sake of the taxpayers, do what you have to do. Do what you should do for the sake of the taxpayers. Fix the problems that we have. And I know they don't get fixed overnight, but nobody's brought any kind of solution to anything. It's continued bickering. Please, end it. Fix it.
Thank you, Ms. Quinn. Council member comments? Are there any?
Yes, I just want to say that, I want to thank everyone for coming out, and yes, I know personally I do care. We're going through the budget, we're gonna go line by line, and I'm also a taxpayer in this town, so we know what it's about. And I don't know if I'm an authority or anything to speak, I just want to share a little bit about this chaplaincy that came up before. And I don't know if I'm allowed, but I think if it's permissible. About a few years ago, my husband asked, what is this, the ordinances, or what can he do to help in this community serve? Since he is a member of a chaplain state and federal, what could he do as an instructor, or what services he could have, or he could give out voluntarily? When I ran for election and I was appointed, I told him to hold on, because I know he wants to do this. We've been in this community for over 25 years. We have a church in Country Lakes for over 25 years now. So therefore, we are part of the Pemberton Township Ministerium. His voice on this was, what can we do as a ministerium to help the police department, to help the fire department? Out of that, it just went on wild about, oh, the taxpayers are going to train Blood's husband. There's no training, there's no money involved here. He just wanted to offer, as a doctor in divinity, not only that, but also he is a chaplain for the state assigned. Why can't he offer that in this city, in the township he lives and we reside in? Not having to go to North Jersey like he's called. He does chaplaincy in the Deborah over in Georgia. But something that innocent was taken out of content. And yes, it was upsetting to me, because I don't see him with humbly coming before them. He's done commencements, he's done that, but I'm not putting him up on a pedestal. I'm just saying that something so minimal as a symbol was taken out of it. We adore Pastor Glass. He's doing a fine job. No one is saying to take away anything. We just ask, could there be added? In case of an emergency, like 9/11, someone stated today, a resident. These are the issues that we need to be brought up. But something that small takes up everyone's time to bandwagon on this. I just want to say, as a council here in this township, we are citizens here as well. We reside here. Our children went to school here. My grandkids go to school here. So if my husband wanted to offer his services, why was that taken out? I just wanted to say, because it is hurtful, just like everyone gets hurt, and we are here for you. And we do our homework. And we're not rubber stamping. And that is my opinion and what I say forth. So I thank you for this evening coming out. And it's great to see a lot of residents come out. And I do hear from residents. I do hear, because I travel all around this area. As an employee, still connected with Burlington County College, I hear it all. So I am aware of what goes on. And we're here to do the best we can for our residents. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to thank the public for their comments this evening. And you can rest assured it has not fallen on deaf ears, as my vote will indicate and prove that it is not. I have done my homework. I have done it. I've gone to our solicitor many times. I've asked the questions. I will still continue to ask the questions. I can't fathom what happened between the administration 2-3 years ago. I can publicly say that I ran with the mayor for 2 terms, and it wasn't like this. We were informed. We sat down. We discussed budget in a legal way. Those sorts of things. I don't know what happened, and I can't tell you. But I will respect my residents. I'll do my homework. I'll listen to you. You call me. There were 3 or 4 people out here this evening and asked me for my telephone number. If I don't have it, you can always go to the clerk here, 894-3314, and ask, or she leaves us a message or texts us and let us know that someone is trying to contact you. I'm always available. I'm saddened to see that we're constantly losing, someone mentioned here tonight, our employees. We lost our tax, I believe she resigned, assessor. And my God, it was like everyone was head over heels when she first came here. Head over heels. I don't know what happened. We just received the email that her last day was going to be, I believe, the 11th February, and she resigned. Again, with one of our fine firemen, I believe it's Danker. Danker, yes. I was sad to receive that email that he had put in his resignation. I don't know what's going on. I'm stressed out myself, and I'm not pregnant. I am stressed, believe me. I don't go home and lay my head down and go right to sleep. I think about everything that's being said. Did I say the proper thing? Did I address it? How did I address it? I don't lay my head right down. I have to regroup myself and then lay down and say, you know what, Diane Stenny, you did what you had to do, and you did a good job. And I have to feel good about that, because I was elected for the people, by the people, not to chummy with anyone. I look down in Washington, I remember President Obama coming on saying, oh, okay, I want to get along with everybody. Pick up the newspaper or cut on the TV and see how many people are getting along down there. Oh, wait a minute, I'll give you one even closer. Look at the state of New Jersey. We all start out that we want to get along together, and we do. But we're not hired here to, or elected here to get along with the administration or councils or whatever you heard, different votes all over the place tonight. We're here to listen to the people and do what's right for the people. And that's what I'm going to continue to do, about to stand all by myself. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Yes, I just wanted to thank everybody also for coming out. Thank everyone out for their comments. Your comments are taken into consideration. We do listen to your comments. We do take everyone's comments seriously. As I wanted to say to Mr. Prickett, I do apologize for not responding to your email. I did get that. I wanted to say to Ms. Maldonado that if I have been introducing the motions and ordinances and everything else improperly, I will work better at that. This is all new to me. I am not using that as an excuse. Please understand. But I will learn to do it properly. As far as detention and everything, I do agree with everyone in here, as well as agreeing with council. It is a lot between the police administration. It's something that's taken place before I got here. Would I like to see it better? Absolutely. But the first thing would have to be is, how do we see it get better? Everyone has to listen. Administration, the police department, as well as us. We all have to listen. I think the police department and Chief Janice does do a great job. We are not, again, not all going to agree, but like Ms. Stinney and Ms. Trueblood said, we're here to make the decisions that's best for the town as a whole. As a whole. While we were sitting here, as someone has said about the administration and the police department going back and forth, and the public and the council as well go back and forth. And I don't like that either. I am open to talking to anyone. I am open to listening to anyone. I do feel that all of our decisions aren't going to be agreed upon or even liked, but we are here to serve the people of the town. I do not agree with everything that the mayor says. Just because I may not do it in front of open comment does not mean I do not tell him that, hey, you went too far, you didn't have to say this, or I don't agree with this, or I don't agree with that. That's what I mean when I say I do my homework. That's what I'm referring to. So I ask that everyone continue to just give us support. Give us support, the same support that you want, the same support that this council plans on giving to all offices and all departments here within within the township here. I thank everyone for coming out. I pray that you guys continue to come out, and when you do come out, it's the best thing because then you can get all the information firsthand and take it back to the public, so we don't get this back and forth comments on social media and everything else. Come to the meetings and get the facts. Thank you, and thank you for your time.
Okay, couple of issues. When we approved the emergency squad, the deal with Lords, we had the gentleman in here and questioned him quite vividly. I remember, are you going to dun our residents? Because my fear, and I knew what was going on at that point, people would wait for our emergency volunteers to come. They might have a serious illness, and they didn't want to pay for Lords or Monarch. So I was afraid somebody was going to end up dying waiting because they couldn't afford to pay. And you know as well as I do, we have a lot of senior citizens and older people who would pay that bill, not realizing they didn't really need to. But there was an agreement, verbally, it's got to be on the tape back then, that yeah, they're going to bill you. That doesn't mean you have to pay it. You just write them I consider my insurance, the payment from my insurance company as full payment to you or whatever. And if anybody is being done, then I do want to know about it. And I took heat when I finally voted to let emergency squad ambulances go to the Pemberton Fire Department. And I did that for that very reason. I didn't want to see those ambulances gone altogether, because I know darn sight well that just as soon as we had gotten rid of every ambulance, then they'd say, oh, we can't do this for free anymore, and we'd go back. Years ago, we were paying, was it $59,000 or $70,000 a year for Monarch and that service. So that was one of the reasons why I went along with the ambulances going to the fire department. The fire director, when the ordinance was written and passed, Chris Voss was our business administrator. Chris had been a longtime firefighter and was very capable of being a fire director in case the director wasn't there. And that was one of the things we talked about at the time. He could fill in. Now I'm wondering, should we revisit the ordinance and take out that the business administrator automatically becomes a fire director? That might be a thought. And I had no knowledge whether or not Mr. Gonzalez had ever been a fireman. I just thought he had been until tonight. I think it's unfortunate that the discussion about adding chaplains came up now. Just as I think it's poor timing with this ordinance, that this is coming up now when we have so much going on with our fire department. I think it adds to the distrust, it adds to the rumor mill. As